Mick Marshall is an adventure runner, and he's on a bit of a mission. His mission is to break the Guinness World Record for the most desert races completed in 1 year. Race 1 was across the Simpson Desert, and I think he's off to Peru soon. And before he goes to Peru, he's with me in the studio. Mick Marshall, good morning to you.
G'day, Steve.
Thanks for coming in. First up, can you just outline what this record is you're trying to set?
Yeah, what it is, it's the most desert runs in a year, and it all came about with, firstly, it's my 50th birthday this year, so it all came about with doing something big and for some sort of change that we can make. So, yeah, so we're off to Peru on Wednesday. It's only a really short backup from the first race. 2 weeks, so 3 weeks, and the body's recovered and good, and I'm looking forward to getting out and getting a little bit of sun, actually, after just hearing your weather report.
Yeah, it'll be summer. No, not in Peru, but it's...
I think it is the South American summer.
Okay.
It's just coming off it.
Right.
I'm not geographically that sound.
No,
But,
that's okay. So the desert race in Peru, is it also at high altitude?
No, it's not.
It's not. Okay.
We originally thought it was, but when we looked it all up, it's actually not. So, but there are a couple that are at a high altitude where we're going to 5 different countries through the world record. So they have all their own challenges in themselves that we're faced. So. But it is also a very strong message, and it's a message that we want to get out, that we're all capable of positive change. You know, I started running at age 42. I'm not as you can see, Steve, I'm not a super-duper finely bred athlete. But I think patience, persistence, all those positive things that we can put into our minds to actually do something. And the main thing is to get up and take action and do it. And that's what the message is.
Okay. So people understand the sort of races that you are doing, the Simpson Desert event that you did, 2 weeks ago, you said. How far was that race?
That was 150 kilometres over 5 days. So they split that up. It's called a multi-day event. And there's all sorts of different adventure running or ultra running, all different methods and ways. Like this one that I'm going to is just flat out. It's 104 kilometres from start to finish. You've got 20 hours to finish it. So they're all very different in the approaches that you can take to them. My preference is the multi-days. I seem to be able to recover. My body works well with that. It doesn't really work well with just the flat out one.
The big one, all in one go.
In one go. It works differently. So there's all different ways and means and attitude. And I heard you say why, to ask why I do it personally, because it takes me to all these different places and feelings that we have in a race. It's amazing. You know, you get the highs, you get the lows, you get the laughs, you get the cries, and you get a lot of isolation, which we don't get nowadays. A lot of isolation. You're on your own for a long, long time to be able to think about some things. You know?
No interruptions. You've just got time in your own head.
Yeah, that's right.
So where else are you going to have to go to get to this record?
Yeah, we've got obviously Peru's next week. We go to. Then I'm back here in Australia. We do Run Larapinta. It's called the Larapinta Trail. Yeah, and then we're
that won't be easy.
No, none. I don't think any of them are easy.
But the Larapinta Trail is sort of up and over.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's exciting though. You know, like exciting and fear. You know, it's the same thing, just a different thought. So, but then we go to. I might not get this in order exactly, but we go to Oman, I think. Then we go to the Sahara. That'll be tough, really tough. And then we go to India. And then we go to Utah,
right?
And I think that will be a really, really tough event too.
As well, okay.
Yeah, and then we're back to Australia. A race called the Track. It's a 520-kilometre run from Alice Springs to Uluru. So, and that will be definitely the most challenging one.
Over how many days is that?
That's 9 days.
Okay.
Fully self-sufficient though. You cut all your own gear, all your own food, all your own bedding. They put up the tents for you, and you dive in, sleep, eat, and get up the next day and do it all again for 9 days.
So when you say you cart it, are you wearing a backpack or are you pushing a trolley or
backpack? Yeah.
So it's more. I would assume that's more like race walking than actual running. Or can you run okay with
Yeah,
the backpack?
yeah, we get in a trot. Yeah, some of the, like it's a funny thing. The quicker you get in, the better more time you've got to reset or heal or fix some wounds or, have a spell. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just trying to put this all in perspective. There's a couple of races in Australia. You're off to Peru on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You said there's the Sahara Desert, there's Oman, there's India, the USA, and then back to Australia.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And if you do all those within is it the calendar year?
No, it's a year. So we've got till May next year to finish it.
All right.
Yeah.
And you'll set the world record.
And that'll be a world record. Yeah. Yeah.
When you say you started running at 42, and I want to go back to that in a second as well, but when you were running, when did the idea of the world record come about?
It's always been in my mind. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to get in the Guinness Book of Records, I guess. So I think a lot of people do, though. They read that book and they say, how do I get in there and what do I do? And I remember doing a lacquer band ball one day, this lacquer band ball, and I was building it up and I'm thinking, how big can I does it have to be to get in the Guinness Book? Then I seen the picture and I thought, oh, bloody hell, I'm not going to do that. That's impossible.
Yep.
But it's funny how things sort of come to you, because I was thinking about doing some other events and then I thought, well, no. And I started working at Berry Street and as a therapeutic carer, and I wanted to assist other people and kids, and not just the other kids, my co-workers and all those, and everybody. I just like helping people wherever I can, or with whatever I can do and whatever qualities I have. And so we came up with this idea that how do we get the message out that we're all capable of creating positive change, and that's where the world record sort of began. I thought, well, this is something that I can do. I can run. I seem to have good endurance and recovery rates, so it's something I can do. I never found it till I was 42, but that's how the world record came about, and we thought, well, okay, we'll set this message out there in this positive way, so that people can see that, if this silly bugger can rip around and do all this stuff, it's not just the running, it's the itinerary, it's the food, the nutrition, the rest.
It's everything else that comes with it.
It's everything else that we can. We just can.
So the Running for Change attempt is what it's called.
Running for Change is the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're raising some funds for Berry Street.
Yeah.
And also with Are You OK and Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. They're all involved as beneficiaries of this if you fundraise as you go through.
Yeah, well, race one was called the Big Red Run, and that's set up by JDRF, which is type 1 diabetes.
Yep.
Now, I never really knew much about type 1 diabetes, and this is sort of how this whole idea came together over time. I've done that a couple of times, that race, and my next door neighbour actually donated quite a hefty sum of money when I'd done it a few years ago, and I wondered why. And he just pulled up his shirt and he said, "This is why." And he had type 1 diabetes. So, and type 1 diabetes is one that you don't get a say in.
Yeah.
So, to assist with getting the new pumps and all that sort of stuff, I thought, well, this is wonderful. It made me not only feel good, but I'm actually doing something that is creating a positive change in that person's life. So,
yeah, indeed.
So that's sort of how we got on the tram, I guess, Steve. And with Berry Street, they've partnered up with me with this because they can just see it as a fantastic avenue for the youth, the troubled youth, or homeless and all that sort of stuff, to actually generate to something. Like, I'm just a guy that works there, and they can generate to that.
But they say, well, he's done all this stuff because he wanted to. Because he got off his bum and did it.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's like the 5-second rule, or whatever you want to call it. We've got a window of opportunity, and if we don't react to that window of opportunity or sign up, I guess once you sign up, you commit. Most of us humans, once we sign on, we commit. Or we might go for one or two or whatever, but we actually, once we commit, we're in. Yeah.
Let me take you back a bit, Mick, because you said you started running at 42.
Yeah.
What happened at 42 that started you running?
Yeah, well, everyone has their ups and downs in lives, or we all get thrown a few curveballs, and I did. I was in a bad place in my life, probably mentally, and I thought there's a couple of things that I always wanted to do, and one was to run a marathon. And I thought, well, I need to focus on something. I need to have a focus in my life at the time, And so I did. I said, well, I wanted to run a marathon. I was 42 years old. I thought 42K, that's fantastic. Let's do it. And then I entered, and I thought the date on the entry was the Melbourne Marathon, and it was the 10th of the 10th of the 10th. And I thought, wow, this is all.
It's serendipitous. It's all
just
falling into
meant
place.
to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So I went and done it with very minimal training, but I was very scared. I started training with the Tan Clan, but that's another story. To get to the Tan Clan, because I never ran with groups, I was not myself, and I didn't get out of the car. I'd turn up at 6 o'clock and I'd look around and I'd go, no, I can't do this. And I'd drive home. It happened probably about 6 or 7 times until a very good friend of mine came past, was running in the Tan Clan that morning, and he said, hey, Mick, it's great to see you. As simple as that. And I had no choice then, Steve. I had to get out of the car. Yeah. So I did, and I hadn't looked back. And then I ran the marathon. I didn't do it in a bad time, but it was... but I couldn't walk. I was horrible. I couldn't move or anything. But I thought, imagine if I give this a go. And I guess that started my journey to running and adventure running. So into adventure running. Yeah.
It's extraordinary stuff. Thank you very much for coming in.
No
if people want to support this, because as we were saying, there are those fundraising things, what's the best way for them to find you online? Are there Facebook pages or are there specific websites?
Yeah, there are, Steve. We've got runningforchange.com.au, which is... the number 4 in the middle, so it's runningforchange.com.au. People can follow the journey, leave messages, and it's fantastic, the support I've been getting from Ballarat. It's been terrific, and that's what keeps me going, because we do go through the sad periods, and I just flip out a message and read it. So get on there, and I've got a Mick Marshall Adventure Runner page. Certainly people can get on there and have a look, but mainly the website. Get on there, follow the journey, and you can support, donate. There's all sorts of different ways that you can do it. But, check it out and follow the journey, and hopefully we can get all sorts of people getting up and having a crack.
Yeah, indeed. Mick, thanks for coming in. Lovely to meet you. It's a good to see you. Good luck in Peru.
No worries.
Doesn't sound like you need much luck. It's just grit and determination. But
pretty much.
You know
persistence.
what I mean. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Mick Marshall. And if you want to have a look at the website, runningforchange.com.au, and it's the number 4, not the word 4. So Running for Change is one of the best starting points. Or you can just search for Mick Marshall Adventure Runner, and you'll find some of the information there as well. Off to Peru for that event, and heading away on Wednesday.